Council has been in executive session for approximately 30 minutes. No decisions were made, and we will now reconvene our regular meeting. All right, moving on to page 4, item B, committee reports and consideration of a resolution of council for second reading adoption under suspension of the rules. We need a motion to suspend Rule 9D to waive that third reading.
Madam President, I move to suspend the rule.
Moved by Mr. Gallagher and seconded by Mr. Jimana. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it.
Resolution number 2014-0217, a resolution approving and concurring with amendments made to the Northeast Ohio Area-Wide Coordinating Agency Code of Regulations on July 11, 2014, as shown in NOACA Resolution numbers 2014-033 and 2014-034, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Moved by Mr. Schrein and seconded by Ms. Conwell. This item was on before. There was long discussions about it. These are the NOACA Code of Regulations. And I've co-sponsored this with Ms. Conwell and Jimana, and I urge the adoption. Is there any other discussion on this?
Yeah, Madam President.
Yes.
This requires each of the 5 counties to vote affirmatively to make this adoption. And they all must vote. We have been made aware that Medina County has voted this down. So regardless of our actions tonight, I'd recommend we pass it. But regardless of our actions, this code will not be enacted.
Unless Medina changes their mind. Where I have somebody, is he from NOACA?
Madam President, Council, Bill Davis with NOACA. Oh, I think it's pressed.
All right.
Following our meeting, we discovered that that Medina had actually ratified Resolution 033 and has not taken any formal action on 034. We'll be asking our board to extend the ratification period because several counties have expressed that given time for further deliberations, they may take specific actions on these.
Okay, very good, thank you.
Okay. All right. Any other questions regarding this? All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Consideration of ordinance of council for first reading and referral to committee. Item 1.
Ordinance number 2014-0028, an ordinance establishing the Cuyahoga County Archives Advisory Commission and declaring the necessity that this ordinance become immediately effective.
I'm going to refer this to the Public Works Committee, but this was my ordinance, that we have an advisory committee to work with with Public Works regarding the historical documents and the maintenance of the archives. As you know, this is a particular interest of mine, and you'll have an opportunity to see the legislation, but it involves various people from the community and also from Public Works, the county archivist, and people who are trained in historical documents and preserving those documents. So I'll refer this to Public Works.
Ordinance number 2014-0029, an ordinance amending the administrative rules for the Cuyahoga County Personnel Review Commission and declaring the necessity that this ordinance become immediately effective.
Let's go to Human Resources. Item D, committee reports and consideration of an ordinance of council for second reading.
Ordinance number 2014-0021, an ordinance amending Chapter 701 of the Cuyahoga County Code by adding Sections 701.06 and 701.07 to establish guidelines for the county's investment policy and financial reporting requirements for Cuyahoga County.
And this matter will be on for third reading on October the 14th. Committee reports and consideration of an ordinance of council for second reading and adoption under suspension of the rules. We need a motion to suspend Rule 9D.
Madam President, I move to suspend the rule.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Gallagher and seconded by Mr. Jimana. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Madam Clerk.
Ordinance number 2014-0022, an ordinance enacting the County Executive Transition Act and declaring the necessity that this ordinance become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
Moved by Mr. Schrein and seconded by Mr. Miller. Do you want to be heard on this, Mr. Brady? Or
Just briefly, we've discussed this several times. This is to add structure and transparency to the transition process. You can turn to 100 page 287 if you're looking for some of the details. The council, the executive-elect, will be able to be provided with legal services, legal advice from the law department. They will be able to hire the Monday after the election up to 5 people to serve in the office of county elect, and those operations will go on, will terminate no later than January the 15th, and will not exceed $250,000. I believe, and I believe we have lots of support for this. This will make the transition more understandable, more smooth, and something that will allow the council, the county executive-elect the opportunity to work together for the 2 months leading up to the transition of one executive to the other. And I ask the council for its support.
All right, any other questions, comments? All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. All right, item F, consideration of ordinance of council for third reading adoption.
Ordinance number 2014-0016, an ordinance amending section 106.06 of the Cuyahoga County Code to establish copying costs for public records.
Move to adopt.
Miller and seconded by Mr. Germana. Anyone wants to be heard on this? I think we've gone over, this is just establishing a cost for the copying of public records. Mr. Miller.
Madam President, my colleagues, this ordinance updates our transitional language and provides ongoing costs for copying public records. The costs specified are similar to current practice. Flexibility is given to waive costs as long as this is done in a consistent manner. Per Law Department recommendation, when electronic copies are provided, we still may charge for paper copies needed in the process of producing copies, such as to do redactions. This was reviewed by our archivist and the Executive Communication Department, and they support it, and I ask for the support of my colleagues.
Thank you. Anything else? All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Item 11, legislation introduced by the executive. In accordance with Rule 6B of Council Rules, I ask for a motion to add item R 2014-0237 to the agenda. I believe the item is at your desk.
I so move.
Moved and seconded to add this additional item. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
I'm
So-
sorry, excuse me, who was the second?
Okay. And consideration of a resolution for first reading adoption. So now we have to suspend Rule 9D and 12A for both. The item listed, 2014 0230, and this additional item, 2014 0237. So we need to suspend Rule 9D and 12A.
Madam President, I move to suspend the rules.
I moved by Mr. Gallagher and seconded by Mr. Germain. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. So, Jean, you want to start with 0230?
Yes, Madam Chair. Resolution number 2014-0230, a resolution amending the 2014-2015 biennial operating budget for 2014 by providing for additional fiscal appropriations from the general fund and other funding sources, for appropriation transfers between budget accounts and for cash transfers between budgetary funds in order to meet the budgetary needs of various county departments, offices, and agencies, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Now,
Move to
before we,
adopt.
wait, hold on, Mr. Miller, hold on. Go ahead, okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Move to adopt.
Okay, moved by Mr. Miller and seconded by Mr. Germain. Now, we need a motion to amend this, is that correct? Okay. And do you want to give us the nature of the amendment?
Yes, Madam Chair, OBM has requested that just a minor amendment be made. I just found out about this. It's amending the funding source period for items O and P in Section 1, having to do with the reclaim funds. It should be, instead of July 1st, 2014 through June 30, 2014, it should be replaced by July 1st, 2014 to June 30, 2015 for both items O and P in Section 1.
I move to amend.
Okay, so motion to amend by Mr. Miller and seconded by Mr. Jimana. I say like, so let's, all those in favor of the amendment indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it, so the item is now amended. Now, do you have comments on the item as amended, Mr. Miller?
Yes, this meeting's fiscal resolution is primarily routine as the more significant items were included in the second quarter review resolution from the last meeting. Most significant in this resolution is that the bids for the $3 million roof repairs for the Hunter Building and the men's shelter came in overestimate by about $400,000. Of that amount, $96,000 will be covered by an internal transfer, but the remainder will result in an increase in the amount to be funded from a future debt offering. I ask for the approval of my colleagues.
All right, thank you. Any questions of anyone? Okay, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Resolution's adopted. Now, this is our new item, Madam Clerk.
Reading into the record, resolution number 2014-0237, a resolution approving a proposed settlement in the matter of Nancy Kovacic et al. Versus Cuyahoga County Department of Children and Family Services et al., United States District Court Case Number 1:05-CV2746, authorizing the law director and/or his designee to execute the settlement and any related documentation, authorizing the appropriation of funds for payment of settlement amounts set forth herein, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective. Also, Madam Chair, just a note that this item will be reformatted in accordance with the clerk's standard practices, and I will get with the law department to make sure that he is okay with how it was reformatted.
Okay, and this matter is time sensitive, so are there any other questions regarding this? All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it.
Did we have a motion? Madam Chair, we
Do we
need
have
a
a
motion and
motion
a
yet?
second.
Do we have a motion?
Move to adopt.
All right, moved by Mr. Miller and seconded by Mr. Jimana. Okay, all right, so any other questions or discussion on this?
No, I would just say that we're happy to report that the settlement happened today in the middle of the jury trial and with the assistance of the federal judge. And because the jury is impaneled and whether the trial continues tomorrow or not, that necessitated the action by counsel tonight, which is why the item was walked on the agenda tonight, so that the judge can let the jury go home tomorrow morning.
I'm sure
and
they'll be
we
very
recommend
happy
approval.
jurors.
Yes, we recommend approval.
Okay, all right. Do I call for vote then? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, the ayes have it. All right, consideration of a resolution for first reading and referral to committee.
Resolution number 2014-0231, a resolution making an award on requisition number 30137 to Hilton Supply Management in the amount not to exceed $150,000 to arrange for the purchase, delivery, and installation of certain operating supplies and equipment, OS&E, for use in the operation of the hotel, authorizing Hilton Supply Management to act as the county's agent to purchase OS&E in the amount not to exceed $7,200,000 for use in the operation of the hotel, authorizing the county executive to take all necessary actions and to execute all documents necessary to consummate the contemplated transactions, authorizing the Director of Public Works to administer the project, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Let's go to Public Works.
Resolution number 2014-0232, a resolution making an award on requisition number 31509 to Cold Harbor Building Company in the amount not to exceed $3,147,600 for the Jane Edna Hunter, an emergency men's shelter roof renovation project. Authorizing the county executive to execute the contract and all other documents consistent with said award and this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
We'll go to Public Works.
Resolution number 2014-0233, a resolution authorizing a revenue-generating utility agreement with the Village of Highland Hills for maintenance and repair of storm sewers, sanitary sewers, and water lines located in County Sewer District Number 5, authorizing the county executive to execute the agreement and all other documents consistent with this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
This goes to Public Works.
Resolution number 2014-0234, a resolution authorizing a pay-for-success contract with Mental Health Services for Homeless Persons Incorporated, doing business as Frontline Service, and Cuyahoga PFS, in the amount not to exceed $5 million for an intervention program that provides various services addressing basic needs, housing placement, trauma therapy, and family reunification services to children in foster care and homeless families of children in foster care for the period January 1, 2015 through December 15, 2020, authorizing the county executive to execute the contract and all other documents consistent with this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
It goes to Health and Human Services.
Resolution number 2014-0235, a resolution authorizing an amendment to contract number CE 1300-435 with Child Care Resource Center of Cuyahoga County, doing business as Starting Point, for out-of-school time and transition services for the out-of-school time program for the period September 1, 2013 through September 30, 2014, to extend the time period to September 30, 2015, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $1,400,000. Authorizing the county executive to execute the amendment and all other documents consistent with this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
This goes to Education, Environment, and Sustainability.
Resolution number 2014-0236, a resolution authorizing a contract with Educational Service Center of Cuyahoga County in the amount not to exceed $519,976 for administration and evaluation of the pre-4CLE program for the Invest in Children program for the period August 1, 2014 through July 31, 2016, authorizing the county executive to execute the contract and all other documents consistent with this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Goes to Education, Environment, and Sustainability. Committee reports and consideration of a resolution for second reading.
Resolution number 2014-0212, a resolution authorizing an agreement with City of Cleveland in the amount not to exceed $600,000 for cellular 911 public safety answering point services originating in the City of Cleveland for the period August 18, 2014 through August 17, 2015, authorizing the county executive to execute the agreement and all other documents consistent with this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
This matter will be on for third reading on October the 14th. Committee reports and consideration of resolutions for second reading, adoption under suspension of the rules. These matters have been to committee, and it's been recommended that we waive the third reading. So, Mr. Gallagher.
Madam President, I move we suspend the rule.
Moved and seconded, we suspend Rule 9D. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Resolution number 2014-0215, a resolution authorizing an amendment to contract number CE 1300-411 with Rest Care Workforce Services for a work experience program for Ohio Works First cash recipients for the period October 1, 2013 through September 30, 2014, to extend the time period to September 30, 2015, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $1,449,279. Authorizing the county executive to execute the amendment and all other documents consistent with this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move approval.
Who was that, Mr. Brady? Seconded by Mr. Germana. Anyone to be heard on this one?
Madam Person, This RWS, Rest Care Workforce Services, serves all work-eligible adults and able-bodied adults without dependents receiving Ohio Works First cash assistance provided by a work experience program, orientation and placement and retention services in order to enhance their employment while maintaining eligibility for benefits. The funding is 68% TANF funding, 32% food assistance employment training, and I would ask the council for its support.
Any questions, Mr. Brady?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
how many individuals are helped under this contract?
Is there someone in the department who can answer that question?
Madam Chair, to the members of council, to the councilman's question, first, let me introduce myself, David Merriman, Administrator of Job and Family Services. I don't have the specific number of individuals that are helped through the contract each year. We refer all individuals needing this service to this provider. I'd be happy to get that information for you tomorrow, if that's okay.
Correct.
It is tracked. It is tracked in two systems. It's tracked in ResCare's data system, and it's tracked in our CRISI system.
Okay, thank you.
I will have that for you tomorrow.
We did, of course, we did hear this in committee.
We did.
Yes. Okay.
Full disclosure, I did not ask the question during committee, so.
Okay, thank you.
All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Next item.
Resolution number 2014-0220, a resolution amending the 2014-2015 biennial operating budget for 2014 by providing for additional fiscal appropriations from the general fund and other funding sources, for appropriation transfers between budget accounts and for cash transfers between budgetary funds in order to meet the budgetary needs of various county departments, offices, and agencies, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
Moved by Mr. Miller and seconded by Ms. Conwell. Mr. Miller.
Madam President, my colleagues, this is the fiscal resolution based on the second quarter financial report and was introduced at the last council meeting and discussed in the committee of the whole. It appropriates $3 million from the 911 fund to help pay for the Emergency Operations Center, $2.4 million for the sheriff's shooting range, and $1 million for the first allocation for the Social Impact Bond Fund for treatment for homeless women and their children. Municipal judicial costs came in higher than expected by $583,000, and utilities costs came in higher than expected by $1.6 million. Both items may have some carryover into future budgets, but part of the utility costs may be one-time effects of the unusually severe winter that we had this year. I ask for your approval.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Any other questions of him? Or all right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Next item.
Resolution number 2014-0221, a resolution approving amendments to amended and restated lease agreement and amended and restated sublease and operating agreement with Cuyahoga County Convention Facilities Development Corporation in connection with the Cleveland Convention Center and the Global Center for Health Innovation, authorizing the county executive to execute the amendments and all other documents consistent with this resolution and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Moved by Mr. Sharon and seconded by Mr. Jimana. Anyone but be heard on this?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
we heard this in Public Works last week, and we have to pass this because it is state law that the county council needs to pass these appropriations.
Okay. Yes.
I'm going to need to abstain as a member of this board.
All right, any other questions? All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? And please mark Mr. Brady as abstaining.
Recused.
Recuse? Okay. All right, next item.
Resolution number 2014-0222, a resolution authorizing a revenue-generating utility agreement with City of Highland Heights for maintenance and repair of storm sewers, sanitary sewers, and water lines located in County Sewer District Number 3. authorizing the county executive to execute the agreement and all other documents consistent with this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Moved by Mr. Jemana and seconded by Mr. Shrine. Mr. Jemana?
Yes, this has to do with the sanitary engineer amounts that the city requests to be allocated, and again, by state law. County council needs to pass this. So we hope everyone will concur.
All right. Any other questions, comments? All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Next item.
Resolution number 2014-0223, a resolution accepting the rates as determined by the Budget Commission, authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the county fiscal officer, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
Moved by Mr. Miller and seconded by Mr. Jemana.
Madam President, this is routine legislation required by state law to officially set property tax rates for the coming year, and the allocation between operations and debt service is unchanged from the prior year, and I ask for your support.
Thank you. Anything, any questions regarding this? All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Item E, consideration of a resolution for third reading adoption.
Resolution number 2014-0211, a resolution making an award on requisition number 27440 to MCPC Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $337,951.20 for wireless infrastructure analysis, hardware, and installation services for the period June 1, 2014 through December 31, 2016, authorizing the county executive to execute the contract and all other documents consistent with said award and this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
Moved by Mr. Miller and seconded by Mr. Shrine.
Madam President, this contract for $338,000 over 2 years upgrades the county's wireless infrastructure across county buildings. It includes replacement of aged wireless controllers, which have reached the end of technical support from the manufacturer, and also includes testing equipment to validate performance of the wireless infrastructure. The vendor is MCPC, a local IT vendor who won the contract through a competitive RFP process. I recommend support.
Thank you. Any questions? Mr. Maury is here in case we need it. All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Committee report in consideration of a resolution for third reading and referral to committee.
Resolution number 2014-0073, a resolution authorizing a revenue-generating underlying agreement with City of Cleveland in the minimum amount of $2,365,658.95 per annum for operation of jail services for city prisoners effective November 1, 2014. Authorizing a lease in connection with said agreement in the amount not to exceed $1 per annum for use of the city's central prison unit located at 1300 Ontario Street, 6th floor, Cleveland. Authorizing the county executive to execute the agreement and all other documents consistent with this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
This matter we refer to public safety. I'm calling for item 12 is miscellaneous committee reports, and I'm not sure if we have all the dates here, so does anyone want to go down the line here and do we have any dates set up?
Madam President, Council Operations Committee will meet Monday, the 29th. We only have one item on the agenda, so we will start at 10 a.m. instead of our normal 9 a.m.
Madam President, Finance and Budget Committee is going to get a break. We didn't get any legislation this time. The next meeting is expected to be on Monday, October the 20th at our usual 1 p.m. time.
Mr. Brady, anything?
Yes. Health and Human Services will meet on October the 1st to take up the resolution that was introduced this evening.
Anyone else? Mr. Gallagher?
Tuesday at 1 o'clock.
Tuesday, 1 o'clock. Anyone else?
Yes, Madam Chair. Health and Human Resources Appointment and Equity Committee will be on our off schedule, so September 30th at 10 a.m. We have a lot to cover.
Anything else? All right.
And Madam
any-
President,
yeah.
Public Works will meet in 8 days on October 1st at 11 a.m. To deal with the items referred today.
Okay. Ms.
Ma'am.
Simon?
Thank you, Madam President. Tomorrow, the Environment and Sustainability Committee will meet tomorrow to hear about the Sustainability Department. That's at 10 a.m. tomorrow. And then I'm looking to get a meeting to look at the legislation that came through today on October 1st, perhaps at 3 o'clock, and maybe throw in another item regarding the fuel efficiency.
Okay. Item 15, is he, public comment unrelated to the agenda?
I
we-
believe Reverend Pinckney has left, so, no, Madam Chair.
Reverend Pinckney has left the building. Okay, and executive session, we've already done. Anything else for the good of the order? All right, no further business. We have our next meeting on October the 14th, and we'll have possibly a meeting at 3, a public committee of the whole, and our regular meeting will be at 5. So we stand adjourned.